Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Or a video, I know. But apparently we have some bigger issues here. Apparently we have released our piece of shit, Brittney Griner, from the Russian prison and traded her for the Merchant of Death, Viktor Bout. Now, I'm gonna exactly go over one article, and then we're gonna go exactly who Viktor Bout is, because I think it's good to see who this actual madman is. The U.S. and Russia have exchanged jail to U.S. basketball star Brittney Griner from notorious arms dealer Viktor Bout, held in an American prison for 12 years. Yep, that's a thing. President Joe Biden said Griner was safe and on a plane home from the United Arab Emirates. I'm glad to say Brittney's in good spirits. She needs time and space to recover, he said at the White House. Griner was arrested at the Moscow airport in February for possessing cannabis oil and last month sent to a penal colony. The Biden administration proposed a prison exchange last July, where Moscow had long sought Bout's release. Russia's foreign ministry confirmed the swap and said it had taken place at Abu Dhabi airport. The Russian citizen has been returned to his homeland, it said in a statement, although he was not yet thought to have arrived on Russian soil. Russian news agency said he was still being flown to Vnukovo airport near Moscow. Speaking in the Oval Office, Griner's wife, Cheryl, praised the efforts of the Biden administration in securing her release. I'm just standing here overwhelmed with emotions. As part of the prison exchange, President Biden signed the order for Bout's release, commuting his 25-year jail term. Viktor Bout sold arms to warlords and rogue governments, becoming one of the world's most wanted men. Dubbed the Merchant of Death for gun running in the years after the fall of the Soviet Union, the Russian's exploits expired the 2005 Hollywood film Lord of War, which was loosely based on his life. So, yeah. So, this is what we have now. This is what you get, Democrats. Everybody that votes Democrat, this is what you get. Good job. Good job. So let's go and find out what this guy was. The United States of America versus Viktor Bout. This was an entire country against an absolute madman. Let's learn more about this man, because I don't think this BBC article is really going to cut it here. Summary. Viktor Bout, a notorious international arms dealer also known as the Merchant of Death, was alleged of trafficking weapons to several African warlords, dictators in the Middle East, and the Colombian FARC. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, decided to catch him through a sting operation in which the DEA officers posed as FARC fighters and discussed with him a multi-million-dollar weapons transaction supposedly in order to aid the FARC in its fight against the Colombian government and the United States. Their operation succeeded, and Bout was caught by the police forces in Thailand. The U.S. charged him with a conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals and officials and with conspiring to provide material support to a terrorist organization, the FARC. Initially, Bout managed to have the Thai criminal court prohibit extradition due to it being politically motivated. However, in appeals, the decision was overturned and Bout was extradited to the U.S. in 2010. A U.S. jury found him guilty on all charges in 2011, and on April 5th, 2012, he was sentenced to 25 years imprisonment, the minimum sentence since the judge had found no reason to believe Bout would ever have committed the charged crimes. So, that's what we have here. So, he's been released. We're gonna go more over this man, because this video is not long enough. Now, we're going over. Now, guys, I understand that you guys know about this. People that you probably are on my side of the field or whatever, they know about this. They know about this man. They know how evil he is. But this is for more people that are on the far left, because apparently you guys want to deem everything that the Democrats do as just. But you guys have pretty much sentenced a whole bunch of Americans and many other people to death because this man is an absolute what we would call warmonger. Good job! It looks like our trade was amazing, wasn't it? Viktor Bout was widely believed to be an important international arms trafficker involved in transactions with African warlords, dictators in the Middle East, and the Colombian FARC movement. Also, he was identified as an illicit arms dealer in a 2000 UN report about the civil war in Angola. The Belgian prosecutor issued an arrest warrant against him in 2002 for money laundering, but a Brussels court dismissed the case against him on limitation grounds. However, U.S. authorities in cooperation with the Thai police managed to arrest Bout in Bangkok, in Thailand in 2008. The U.S. charged Bout with conspiracy to kill United States nationals, conspiracy to kill officers and employers of the United States, conspiracy to acquire and use anti-aircraft missiles, and conspiracy to provide material support and resources to a foreign terrorist organization, the FARC. Therefore, an extradition request was filed, although the Thai criminal court initially rejected the request, noting that the request was politically motivated and that Bout had not committed any crime on Thai territory. On August 11, 2009, this decision was overturned and appealed a year later, and Bout was extradited to the U.S. A jury found him guilty on all 4 counts on November 2nd, 2011. Bout was identified in a UN report on the Angolan Civil War in 2000. However, he ultimately stood trial on the charge of conspiring to provide weapons to the FRC. So, yeah. This man is an absolute warmonger. He's an complete animal. And we let this guy go free. Good job. Good job. We have more. Paul Wellman's family feels betrayed by U.S. as a Marine still in Russian jail. That seems to be Paul Wellman's family recently said that they felt betrayed by the U.S. as the former Marine remains detained in Russia, despite the recent prisoner swap that resulted in the release of Trevor Reed from Russian detainment. So, here we have it, is that we have this anti-American piece of shit human being being released from the Russian jail, from the penal colony. And we trade her for this piece of shit. When we have this man here who was arrested most unfairly. Where the fuck do we get off on this shit? You people are ruining our country. You are destroying our lives. You have put a warmonger, essentially, back into the Russian hands. You have traded a warmonger to the Russians for a WNBA player that is absolutely useless and does not give a damn about the U.S. Guess what? Guess when she's going to come back? She's going to come back and start shitting on the U.S. again. That's what she's going to end up doing. Because that's all she cares about. She is a horrible human being, and we traded something horrible for... Oh my god. The absolute insanity. The comments by Wellman's family come shortly after U.S. Marine Trevor Reed was... Okay, we already read that. In a statement following the release of Reed, President Joe Biden said, "We won't stop until Paul Wellman and others join Trevor in the loving arms of family and friends." Wellman, a former U.S. Marine, was arrested in Moscow in 2018 after traveling to Russia for a wedding. In 2020, he was sentenced to 16 years in prison by a Russian court on espionage charges. However, Wellman and his family maintained that the charges levied against him are false and that Russian authorities never provided credible evidence to accuse him of espionage. While Elizabeth Whelan told Newsweek that she was thrilled to hear of Reed's release, she criticized recent comments from Biden, who said that the plan to bring Reed home was raised 3 months ago. She explained that she was disappointed in the U.S. government for not informing her earlier that her brother was not included in the negotiations. Despite weekly calls, the Whelan family has with the State Department's Special Presidency Envoy for Hostage Affairs. It's extraordinary to me that the people we speak with on a weekly basis could not be truthful with us if this was something that was months in planning. Whelan said, "We were given the impression that the work was underway to bring Paul and Trevor home, and that seems not to have been the case. It seems the decision was made months ago to only concentrate on Trevor, and it would have been really great if people could have been truthful to us." Dear, I'm going to tell you one thing. Nobody gives a damn about you guys or anything of that sort because they only care about black people and whoever seems to be anti-American. That's pretty much it. If you're anti-American, you get the stamp of approval. If you're not anti-American, well, guess what? You get arrested. That seems to be the case here. So, I guess be anti-American, guys, and you get all the bloody privileges that you can't possible. So, it goes on to say, Elizabeth also said that her trust with the people who they have been working with in the U.S. government is in an all-time low, while calling on the Biden administration to do more in response to the wrongful detention. "We are in a state of despair right now about Paul, of course, but we're not the only family going through this," she said. "I believe it is a time for the U.S. government as a whole to figure out what they're going to do about wrongful detention. This business of cherry-picking the cases, which is what former President Donald Trump did as well, is what Biden appears to be doing now. Going for a low-hanging fruit, bringing home who they can for the political win, but not solving the problem overall." Agreed. It just means that more Americans will be taken, she added. 100% agreed. So yes, this man was wrongly imprisoned and not really released, and we get this bitch out. Yep. We get her out. And let me be a moment to you guys. They did this for political gain, and the only reason why for political gain. There was no other reason why they did this. And they want to give back a weapons dealer, alright? A man that actively wants to kill all Americans, and pretty much been called the Merchant of Death. That's literally his nickname. Merchant of Death. Normally when you get a nickname called Merchant of Death, you probably are not a great guy, right? So we all know Brittney Griner was released mostly because of cannabis oil and whatever. So we're gonna do this. How many people are in jail for cannabis oil? Because we're gonna see exactly how much it is. So we're gonna keep on looking here. So, Biden. People incarcerated in local and county jails, a significant number given that were 545,632 arrests for cannabis oil in 2019. 545,000. So, Biden, are you going to release these people that have been in jail for X amount of years for weed, for cannabis oil? Are you going to do that? Because if you're going to do that, if you release this bitch for this piece of garbage, then you should probably release these people. Enough of this bullshit. You Democrat voters did this. You caused this man to be released. And now all the death and blood is now on your hands. Think about that. That's it for the video, guys. Like, subscribe, share. We'll definitely be seeing more videos today. And take care.